Hey everybody, welcome to day 20 of the 21 days of NLP and Hypnotherapy. Thank you for joining me. I'm grateful to be here. And it's finally day 21 as well. I didn't put a video out last night or yesterday. I had no congruency with the message that I had curated, and it wasn't from the heart, so I didn't put anything out. So there's going to be two of those for today. The first one is this one. The topic today is I'm going to be focusing on 5 important decisions a businesswoman must make. Now, she'll either make this, and before I get into it, my name is Jocelyn Affinidadansky. For those who don't know me, I'm a trauma nurse of 15 years, been in the healthcare industry for 27 years, and it wasn't until I became unwell that I needed to find a way to heal. I didn't want to have surgery, I didn't want to take the medication, so I decided to go and follow my own route. I'm of Māori and Scottish descent, and I've been around healers my whole life. My whole family are healers, and so I knew that there was another way in which I could free myself from this condition and this illness. I just needed to know and find and or tap into that energetic source so that I could be free from that. And luckily enough, I found a book called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I followed that book within 3-4 weeks. I was fine. I didn't have any palpitations. I didn't need surgery. And then I was able to pretty much continue with the rest of my life without that heart condition, which was quite severe. I've healed myself since. I healed myself from 13 health conditions out of 15 in the space of 9 months, quite severe ones: fibromyalgia, autoimmune disorders, rash, anxiety, depression, chronic insomnia, chronic fatigue, to name a few, and also CPTSD. So now what I do and what I'm passionate about is training students who want to be practitioners themselves, who want to be coaches or healers or therapists, or they already are and they just need the extra mindset mastery tools of neurolinguistic programming and hypnotherapy. I now provide that because we need more people out there helping other people, especially as the mental health crisis increases, mental illness increases, and stress is at an all-time high globally. So welcome to this segment. If you have any questions, please comment down below. I'll be happy to answer them for you. And also, if you want to ask me questions privately, feel free to PM me. If you want to ask about the course as well, I'll be happy to send you more information. I'll be grateful as well. So let's get into it. The first thing I think is the most important thing, based on my own experience and based on the many women I have come into contact with and assisted in this area as well in some way, shape or form. The first most important decision that a businesswoman needs to make, and this could be either she is not a businesswoman yet, but she wants to be. She's always wanted to try something different and to increase her revenue portfolio, to have multiple streams of income. She's always wanted to do that, but hasn't yet, but is looking for the right vehicle to do so. Or she has started on that journey. She has started a business. It's not fully fledged yet, but she's been working behind the scenes, working really hard to get that up and running. Or she is a businesswoman and she's ready to make that decision. Wherever you are on the scale, and you may not be partnered or you may be single, the most important decision of all is choosing wisely the relationship you invest yourself into. And relationships is such a major factor of everyone's life. Everyone has to have relationships. You first of all need a great relationship with yourself, and if you don't, then that is going to impact every single other relationship that you'll come across, but particularly in terms of a romantic relationship, I am more leaning to in terms of this being one of the most important decisions you would make as a businesswoman. Few things with this. When it comes to investing your time and energy into a person, you want to make sure that they're the right person that you want to build with and that you want to co-create with. And particularly time will give you part of that answer, and experience will give you another part of that answer. And wisdom is something that is acquired over time after having multiple attempts at any given situation. You just become wiser the more times you're exposed to a certain situation or certain belief that gets challenged. And with relationships, it's no different to just knowing and trusting yourself. That's the most important thing. And having a blueprint of what you actually want in your life, and having certain standards and values, and writing it down and making a list, just like you would about a business plan. Because essentially, you are going into business with this person, whether you think of it as a business contract or not. That relationship is going to impact every single area of your life, including your money and how you make money. And that person will also impact the way in which you create, and whether or not you're going to be fully able to feel safe to be in your feminine essence, to create, integrate your masculine, to have healthy boundaries, healthy relationship, healthy conversations, to have someone in your life who's able to take full responsibility and accountability for their stuff, and not be in a tumultuous relationship where your energy constantly gets strained. So there's 3 types of relationships. There are unhealthy relationships, there are healthy relationships, and then there are the best soul aligned relationships. So the unhealthy relationships, you just want to get those out of the way. You want to put them on the table, write a list of who they are, and just Control Alt Delete. Honestly, you want to move very quickly through those and let them be where they are, but move forward with your life. The second is the healthy relationships. However, there's work. Obviously, every relationship is like that. And there's an achievable outcome. They're willing to take responsibility. They're willing to do some work with you. There may be some insecurities. There may be some tendencies. There may be some ego that's present in there. Maybe a bit of attachment styles or mismatch on values or where you're going. That's workable and that's achievable. And then the third one is similar to the, I would say, the Heros Gamos reunification of the masculine and the feminine in such a embodied and powerful way that there's not many of those relationships out there in the world, but they are the epitome of what a relationship is. And you want to be heading towards healthy and then a soul beautifully aligned relationship. Anything else outside of that is going to be taxing, is going to take you away from your true soul purpose. You're going to have to fight just to be in the relationship, and it can get very draining and can easily misalign you multiple times, keep you stuck, keep you small, keep you guessing or self-doubting and being confused about your loyalties with yourself and the principles in which you want to live your life. It can also be like a sniper. It slowly comes, didn't even know it was there, and just boom, all of a sudden you look 10 years past the point of no return after you've met this person, and you look back on your life, and where is it all gone? Kids have grown up 10, 20 years. They leave home and you're left there the same position you were before you got into that relationship in the first place. So to just avoid all that time lapse, that time warp that can happen, it's very important you to an inventory when you go it's almost like a job interview when you go into, or you're looking at and you're dating. You want to do a very clear inventory of the men or the woman that you allow into your life and allow access to your energy. What is it that you want? What is it that you are looking to create with someone? um, what are your top 5 values? What are the things that are non-negotiable? What are things that are negotiable? Like, have it all written out as a roadmap to, okay, well, when he comes in and I start going on dates, I want to see if he's going to be a match to my financial future and my spiritual path. Because even though it doesn't look like it in the beginning, dating can be so fun, and it's like, oh my gosh, I've never felt this way before. That's all nice and lovely, and roses and chocolates. But then 9 months down the track, you want to find out that you've made the best decision with the least amount of investment. 9 months down the track, then if you had jumped all in, you had already started an intimate relationship, you've opened up, you've attached to that person, the oxytocin levels are so high that even if it was an unhealthy relationship, by this point you're so attached to that person as a woman, that you wouldn't even know if it was unhealthy, or you might feel it is, but you're blinded by literally that hormone, and you're bonded to that man. And so you won't be able to tell very clearly with clarity whether this is the right investment for you or not. Now, I sort of kind of went on a bit about that, but it's the most important thing, honestly. When you make a wrong turn, you waste a lot of time. There's benefits, right? You have children with that person. They are the most purest blessing on earth. But in saying that, you also may create a lot of trauma with their parent as well, because of the nuances that can happen and occur in relationships, and it's very sad to see that could have been prevented if you just looked at your itinerary and made a different decision. Hindsight is always wonderful, by the way, but you don't want to be in a position where you are making that decision too late and impacts your business, and or you become pregnant, or now you have to take care of these children and you can't work on your business now you have to go back to a 9 to 5 to just make ends meet and to get food on the table. And your business, your legacy, your ability to create an empire is not only put on hold, but the goal of that may be crushed. So it's really important you're mindful of who you take into your home, into your heart, and into your bed, and invest in the right people that are going to bring you a level of enjoyment in your life that is beneficial to you and mutually beneficial to you and to your children, and also to your business and your legacy you want to create. That's the first one. The second one is to recreate your identity. Your identity can be something that's really tied to. We create a lot of identities in our family systems, and with our siblings, we'll have one that's smart, one that's more creative, one that's more sporty, one that's more, tends to be a bit more of a hypochondriac, or whatever the labels are. Every family has their own labels for their family. And so when that child leaves that home and grows up and goes out into the world, there's already these labels that are there, and that's what people can identify with. When you learn to identify and recreate your identity over and over again, so that you're not tied to the past. You're more so tied to the type of empire you're creating, the type of people you want to work with, the type of clientels you're calling in and attracting. When you're more focused on that identity and you're constantly recreating, you're getting rid of the stuff that is not serving you, the mindset, the beliefs, the thoughts, the self-doubt, and you're focusing on self-improvement and bringing in and installing new sets of patterns and beliefs and thoughts and feelings that are aligned to where you're going. That can be done with your identity. Now, identity is so powerful because sometimes people believe more so their identity rather than their capacity and their abilities. And an identity can be very limiting, and people can believe that stuff for like their whole entire life, and they identify with it when they're 78 years old. You don't want to do that. You want to know that you have the ability to change your identity as many times as you want. And I'm not talking about personality disorders or multiple personalities. I'm talking about your literal identity. When you identify and associate with something, the emotional stacking over years of that can change the trajectory of your life or keep your trajectory at the same rate and velocity as that identity. For example, for many years, I'm a nurse, right? I'm a nurse. I'm empathetic. I care about people. If I had believed and continue to believe the narrative that I was brought here to help the family heal, keep the family together, I would have never done what I have done. I would have just stayed as Jocelyn the nurse and continued down that trajectory. Fortunately enough for me, I chose not to believe what other people believed for myself or what their insights were into what my capacity or my expectations were and my abilities were. And I chose to switch them off because they didn't align with me. They aligned with the old me, but that was 2 decades ago. Now I'm this person. And so what I choose to believe is more important. My identity is more important to me than what other people perceive my identity should be. Hope that makes sense. And I'm not talking about hiding behind a mask and being fake and phony and pretending to be someone you're not. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about choosing to identify with the most authentic, congruent person you are right now, rather than identifying with the past and what happened in the past and or what mummy said I could do and what I'm now doing doesn't match. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to you what happened in the past, and it's irrelevant to you in relation to your identity. I mean, what you want to attach to. It's more important that in a wholesome, healthy way, you're doing your work, you're doing your inner work, and you're healing. You're constantly growing and expanding your knowledge and then upgrading the identity that you want to be, so that you can be more impactful and so that you can have a successful business and so you can be successful yourself. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below and I will make another video in order to unpack some more about identity. Another example is identity was that I always got sick. So if I was able to choose to believe that I'm a sickly person, just imagine what I would never try because I believed that. I mean, like, could you imagine? There's no hope for me if I believed that identity. Fortunately enough, I don't believe what other people tell me. I believe what I can do and what I'm capable of. And I believe I can return to my original blueprint anytime I want, and so can anyone, because I've done it time and time again. So that's my identity. So I crush that identity and focus on the one that I know, which is you can heal your life. I can heal mine too. So that's number 2 with identity. Number three, I feel like, so I haven't written anything down, but I feel like have a strategy and a system in place. This is really important for your financial future, and without planning or taking into account your partner, your future partner, getting married, all of that sort of stuff, just purely focusing on your path for the next 5 to 10 years. I want you to really take it seriously and focus on your financial future. Do a list of the things that you're going to need in the next 10 years and the things that you want to achieve again in 10 years. And the way in which you're going to do that, do a whole big, huge spreadsheet and problem solve this. Like, go all out creatively and look at ways in which you as the brand, can create multiple streams of income by different things. Maybe it's a podcast, maybe that's an avenue. Maybe it's opening your own TV channel, maybe that's an avenue. And you can do that easily on the internet. You just do a vlog like this, and today you've got your own TV show, and then you could add a couple of people. That's an avenue. You could write a book. That's an avenue. You could write an ebook and sell it with a strategy on how to XYZ, whatever your specialty is. That's an avenue. You could always invest and upgrade in your skills. That's definitely something we need to put and set aside, and just, even if it's unconsciously, set aside some time and energy and money where you're like, I need to find the next stop in my journey where I invest for this amount of time, for this amount of money, so that I can get to my next level. Because we're always upgrading, we're always needing to do that work. You may want to start a magazine, and that's another avenue. When you write your book, you'll be exposed to some people who may know about magazines. Boom, there's your avenue, there's your resource. It may be you want to make jewelry. Bam, that's an avenue. You may want to make candles. Boom, there's another stream of income. You may even want to package up little boxes and gift boxes for new mums or mums that have just had bubby, and it's eco-friendly and it's vegan and whatever your criteria is. You could package up a little gift box with the color of your brand, and have a blanket that's made of sheep's wool or whatever. I don't know what a vegan blanket looks or feels like, but however you want to brand yourself. Boom, that's another avenue. You could there's so many, there's no limits to what you could do. I want you to, if you're serious about becoming a business owner though, writing down at least 10 things or 10 ways you can, first of a brand, you as the brand, you might want to do modeling. That's another avenue. And it might not be, Paris runway modeling. It might be modeling your feet. You might have nice hands. Hey, modeling your hands. There's no limits to what you can do. You might want to start a vlog on YouTube about your family. You might have a unique family situation, unique angle and story, and you want to increase your exposure. TikTok is another way in which you can get that exposure. You might want to assist and help and specialize with men's mental health. That's another avenue. There's so many things and so many ways and so many angles you can make money. So the third thing is to look at yourself as a brand, and how can you bring and add value to people. And painting's another one. I did not paint those are painted by my nephew, who's an artist, Idai Iwi, and that's of our family tree. you could do something like that. You could have culturally, as long as you are from that culture. I don't believe in painting like in, you know, um, a culture that I personally don't have any heritage with. I feel like that may be a bit misaligned, but it depends on the individual and how they feel. And if they grew up with that type of way of learning and painting, then so be it. Like everyone gets to make their own decision. I think it's very important that people are given the benefit of the doubt the majority of the time, as long as it's not hurting anyone else, to make the decisions that feel right for them and who they identify with and how they do. So write down 10 ways in which you believe you can make money. It's important. It's time. And write the different ways and then write a strategy for those. So the same way as you're investing in a relationship, same way you identify and the identity you're creating, I want you to map out your business plan and your financial future, because that financial future is going to be the seed that is planted in your children. And by default, we as parents are leaders anyway for our children, our grandchildren. They look up to us. We're going to be their ancestors, and we want to make sure we get it right. Not leave it for them to work out, but for us to figure it out in this world with so much uncertainty that they're growing up in. So it's time for parents to do this. It's time for women to get serious about their money and managing themselves and their money, and how they can be that resource of abundance and building an empire and a legacy that they can pass down from generation to generation to their posterity. The fourth one, the fourth decision that I believe is really important for a business woman to make is her environment, where she plants her head at night, where she lives, where she creates, the environment where she chooses to raise her children, the environment where she plants her feet on the ground, when she has a shower in the morning and then a shower in the evening, and or goes to rest and lay her head. That environment that she has her tinana, her body, her emotional body, her physicality, her spiritual body in, and where she resides, her soul, as in her connection to ancestral lineage and timelines, and how she's able to create in here before she manifests out there, and also how and which way she embodies all of that, her own multiverse within her. Her environment's important, so important and so sacred. And so her environment is a place of hostility, stubbornness, of ego, of not being heard, of not feeling safe, always constantly feeling like she needs to walk on eggshells, where she's not seen more than a physical object or a sexual object or a lustful object, but she's seen for the desires of her heart and all the abilities that she has that are far exceeds her physicality, her décolletage and her nose and her ears and her booty, where she is fully seen and acknowledged and honored in her authority. That is important, that her environment that she chooses to be present in is a safe one, is a masterful one, is in alignment with what she is bringing in and calling into her life. And so the most important decision she will make is where she lays her head and when she chooses to raise her children, the future leaders of her legacy and of her posterity, and also of all of our futures. So her environment is key. The next one, the last one, number 5. Number 5 is really an importance in terms of her spirit. Her, no, I don't mean like spirituality, woo woo. I mean her her spirit, and also how she communes and connects with God, with whatever you want to call that source. I call God consciousness, but you could mihi to ioma to a kore or to source. Universe is so, I believe, general. Do you know how many things there are in the universe? I mean, there's universe is not all good. There's a lot of things when you say, I call in the universe to come and protect me. There's a lot of bad in the universe as well. So be very clear and precise with your language when you are asking for guidance from the universe, because sometimes you won't like the answers that you receive. Um, Specificity is more important in this realm. I speak mostly of the ability for the woman to connect with a higher source of grace, with Heavenly Father, in terms of how she creates, in terms of raising her children, in terms of having a wonderful, healthy relationship with her partner, with her love influence, with her love. And something magical happens when she surrenders and is able to surrender to the fact that she can't do it all alone, and that she needs assistance and guidance. And in that realm of what I term spiritual, but it's not, there's so much more than that. There is a particular devotion to return to her practices, her daily practices, her daily self-care, her self-love, her giving off of her overflow, no longer begging, pleading, exchanging from an empty vessel, an empty cup, more so having a full cup, and every day returning to those practices which will aid her, rejuvenate her, allow her to heal inside and out, internally, externally, the timelines that are not aligned to her, and or creating distortions, distractions, and perpetuating trauma in her life, but that she's also able to meet a place in her life in every day where she has the connection with God that she needs to continue her work. And this is a reclamation of her sacred life force energy. And I don't care if you don't believe in God or not, but everyone would have to admit that there's some grace that happens when you come to a life-altering moment in your life, when everything you knew collapses around you, when you collapse inwardly yourself and everything is dismantled in a profound way that you rely on. And who do you lean on? You lean on that source, that grace, that inexplainable essence that I call God, that can cover you and hold you up, and that you can lean on effectively and continue to do your work. So in the worst case, you feel buoyed, you feel protected, you feel witnessed. In the best case, not only do you excel and achieve your goals and or heal, or whatever your mission and purpose is, that in all facets of your life, in the physical aspect as well as the internal, you embody it, you live it, and it's everywhere. And it's there for you without ever being absent again. Yeah. So I hope that lands. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But those are, in summary, the 5 decisions that I believe a businesswoman needs to make. They'll either make it early in their journey, later in their journey, but either way, as a woman in this world that we now live in, it's really a time for women to unite together, to stand together, to support each other, and to stop pointing the finger at each other, and to really come together in raising our children, our babies, to unite with our men, to hold them up, buoy them up, and support them as well, to let them know that they are certainly not alone, and that the healthy connections that we have are continued, and the unhealthy ones that we have are transmuted and worked on and freed up. So in summary, the first one is that's really important in terms of the 5 decisions that a businesswoman needs to make is your relationship and who you choose to invest in, and who you choose to invest your time and energy in, because it will impact every area of your life, including emotionally, spiritually, and financially. The second one, be aware of your identity and how you choose to identify yourself as. The third one is important in relation to your financial blueprint, making sure that your finances for the next 10 years, that you have a guideline, the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10. That's really important, because where you were the last 5-10 years is based on the same mindset that you've had for the 10 years previous. So if nothing changes, nothing changes, and the next 10 years will probably look like the last 10 years if you're not careful. The fourth one was in relation to I can't remember, because I've just spelled these off. The fifth one is you're being able to know and trust that. Fourth one is environment. Environment is key. Be very careful where you lay your head and where you lay your baby's head, and that it's congruent to overall what you're trying to co-create and bring into the world. And the fifth one is trusting in and connecting with the spirit and essence of who you are and your wisdom, and knowing and trusting in God, whatever that essence you want to call that. It's very important that you return to the original blueprint of devotion to your practices, so that you can be buoyed up in this time that we are in of so much uncertainty. That is it for the 5 decisions, that important decisions that I believe a businesswoman must make. That's it. Take care. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.